For a limited time, you can get 6 months of unlimited local news access for only $2 at inforum.news/deal. We're honoring World Press Freedom Day, and along with this deal, we're giving you free access to our news website for 24 hours on May 3rd, so you can experience the critical role local news plays in keeping you informed. If you'd like to stay connected to your community with unlimited access every day, subscribe now to get 6 months of local news for only $2. Visit inforum.news/deal now before this deal ends on May 5th. That's inforum.news/deal. Welcome to the Sports Minute Podcast, brought to you by the sports leader, WDAY. For more scores, highlights, and in-depth analysis, visit inforum.com/sports. And now, here's our latest.
Speaking of local athletes in the pros, believe it or not, NFL Draft Week is already here.
Yeah, several college football players are hoping to get a life-changing call this week. Logan Campbell joins us now in studio. Yeah, Rachel and Cullen, one of those players hoping to get a call is this guy right here, former NDSU defensive end Spencer Waege. I was able to go down to his family's farm to see what a day in the life is like for the defensive end leading up to the NFL draft.
135 miles down I-29, you'll find a small town in South Dakota called South Shore, a town with a population of 191. One of those people is NDSU defensive end Spencer Waege. And his family's farm where he grew up.
I gotta introduce all these guys. This one's Wilmer. What did you, buddy? Back up, your bottle's in there. Back up, it's right here. There you go. And then this little dude's Delilah.
So when did you start getting Spencer into this kind of stuff? How old was he?
2 months. They were down here because we used to milk cows, and that's where we milk cows is in here. And all these guys would be down here just little farts, you know, just playing and doing whatever, wondering where they were at. I had sidewalk chalk. They'd sit in here and draw, or out there and draw on the sidewalk chalk, you know, and play. And Spence has always been, I don't know what you want to say, a putz.
I don't know about that one now.
He's always more to just goofing around and not taking stuff seriously, you know. But you are, Spence. He is a putz, though.
That putz, realizing at a young age his dream is bigger than working on the family farm.
It's actually funny because, I remember we'd play games in the front yard here. It was just, at the time, really, it was, you know, my dad, me, my older brother Walker, and Hunter, when he was old enough, he would be out there running around with us. And, you know, we'd have games going, and, you know, just times like that, you know, you thought you were going to play in the NFL, and that was the dream.
The original dream?
He always wanted to be a kicker. That, you know, he's got the goalpost back here, and that was his thing. If you ever mentioned NFL, he would say, I'm going to be a kicker in the NFL.
I thought that was always just a really cool thing, and you know, I couldn't tell you how many hours I spent out there kicking footballs through that goalpost.
But in high school, that all changed.
I think I kicked for my freshman football team, but then after that, you know, I hit my growth spurt and got a little bigger, and realized I'm probably not going to be a kicker anymore.
Fast forward 4 years later.
That was just a couple days before he left to go up for...
Well, it was that long ago.
Spencer's football career started to take off while repping the green and gold.
Gronowski, down he goes! Spencer Waege!
Now he's getting a shot at making it to the big leagues as a defensive end.
Spencer Waege!
Did you ever think you would have a kid that could play in the NFL?
No. I never even played football. I've never played on a football team in my life, so no, I didn't think I'd ever have a kid that even have a shot at the NFL or anything.
And it's his blue-collar roots,
Logan, you'll get a kick of this one back here,
that helped shape him into the player that he is today.
You've seen him with calves out here earlier, you know, and them are little ones. You get ones that are 2 months old and you can't catch them. Well, and when you're taking them to the pasture, you got to be vaccinating these calves and stuff. So I'd always tell all the boys, say, well, go catch that calf, you know. And they're like, well, I can't catch him. I was like, I don't want to hear I can't catch him. You're going to catch him, you know. So that's always Spencer, you know, if he didn't catch one. Even now, if he wouldn't catch one, I'd just give him a bad time up one side down the other. You know, it's like, oh, you can't catch a calf, you know. So that gives him that little extra push, like, well, I'm going to do it, you know. And
we always made jokes that it was, you know, one of the best agility workouts for us. And, you know, you'd try and grab one and you'd have it, and it would, you'd grab by its back leg and it would slip through your hand or something and get away. And right away, it's just like you didn't want to even look at Dad because he had some comment waiting, and he was like, "Oh, there goes the ball carrier. That's a touchdown," or just something like that. He would say, and you didn't want it to feel like it really was that close, like similar to football, but in reality, I mean, he kind of had a point. It was kind of right.
Can you get out of there? What are you doing in there?
Wherever Spencer ends up, his country flair is coming with.
So even though he comes from basically the middle of nowhere, if you want to say, he'll fit in anywhere because that's just who he is and how he functions and stuff. So as far as being from the country, I think it actually helps him. I think he might get more respect, if you want to say, from certain players and coaches.
I'm probably going to get some funny looks walking around the locker room in cowboy boots and jeans and everything else and some pearl snaps, but, you know, I mean, that's who I am, and, you know, that's not going to change no matter where I'm at. She's a pain.
But no matter what happens, the defensive end will always find his way back to the farm.
We'll all kind of take over. My football career is kind of coming first. Hopefully, if all goes well, you know, I really won't have to do much when I come back.
Spencer is planning on keeping it low-key for the draft and just hanging out with family and friends on the farm.
That'll do it for this episode of the WDAY Sports Minute. For the latest sports coverage from across the region, visit inforum.com/sports and follow Inforum Sports on Facebook or Twitter.